Good morning, Kings. It's time for your morning motivation or your morning medicine. It's time to get it in. Get up, get your day started. I got a message for you. Some of it may motivate, others it may irritate. But either way, here it comes. Got up this morning, decided to run 4.6 miles to honor George Floyd. I know by now you've seen the video circulating. And I just wanted to do something to let them know that it impacted my life. So real quick, let's have a moment of silence. All right, that's exactly 46 seconds into this message. And the morning message is breathe. It's time to breathe. This message is for those on the left side of the incident, meaning that if you're listening to this message, you're on the left side of the incident that's going to cause your demise, meaning that whatever that demise may be, it may be natural causes. It could be a car accident. It could be swallowing some water. It could be a knee on your neck, or it could be some other type of incident. But if you're listening to this message right now, you're on the left side of that demise. So my message, your morning message to you this morning is to breathe. Take a deep breath. Exhale. I can breathe. And that was a privilege that was stolen from Mr. Floyd. So don't let it be stolen in vain. And I can recall when these incidents started, and you may say it was a decade ago, 2 decades ago, when it was Rodney King or whatnot. But no, I'm talking even before that. I'm talking about 1619. The transatlantic slave trade. That's when it started. When you were brought to a land that you didn't know, that you toiled in a land that others benefited from. So this has been going on. It's 2020. 400 years. 400 years. So don't let it be in vain. You're standing on the shoulder of your ancestors. You're standing on the shoulders of those who had untimely demises that went too soon. So my challenge to you this morning is to breathe, to use that breath, to breathe excellence, to do something better. And I know there may be a controversy like, hey, that didn't stop such and such. He didn't do nothing wrong. And there's thousands of cases. I'm telling you, I can't change the right side of the incident. Those things have already transpired. What I'm here is to motivate the left side. I'm left-handed anyway, so I'll use my left side. I'm kind of awkward. So I want to encourage you to use your breath to make a difference. So I don't know how long this message is going to be, but I just got a few stories. I got stories for days in this big head, so I just wanted to share a few of them with you. One of the incidents, I remember I had just joined the Army, graduated basic training, and got down to my duty station. And I hadn't been in my duty station more than probably a month, 2 months. And I got a Red Cross message that my little brother had died. And that was like a tragic event in my life, so it was pretty late in the evening when they gave me the message that he died. And the Red Cross came, so they allowed me to take leave. They allowed me to go home so I can get to the funeral and be with the family at that time. And I remember I got that message, I packed my clothes, I signed out, and then I got on the road driving from Georgia. I was stationed down at Fort Stewart, Georgia, down there by Savannah. I was stationed down there, and I got in my car and I'm just driving. I'm flying. I'm trying to get there in 5 minutes. I mean, I'm doing over 100 miles an hour. I'm doing so fast, the car is just hydroplaning, it's just gliding. I'm in and out of traffic, swerving, hitting about 110, 115 miles an hour, just flying. I'm crying. My face is just filled. And maybe one day I'll share the story behind why that impacted me so much. But anyways, I'm just flying. I'm just riding, just going. 100 miles, 110, hitting the governor, and where the speedometer is kicking back because the engine don't want to go any faster. And I'm just trying to get there. And I remember I just seen in my rear view, these lights go off and pull me over, man. I'm just like, wow. And I'm crying and everything. And the officer approached my car And he had a little attitude. He was like, hey, you in a hurry? What's going on? And then he took a step back, and I rolled my window down. When I rolled my window down, he's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm crying. I mean, my face is just flooded with tears. You know, like, hey, I just joined the Army. I got to my duty station. My little brother died, and I'm trying to get home. Here's my leave papers. I'm trying to get home. Trying to get home to the funeral. And I remember it vividly. He was like, hey, man, you know how fast you were going? I said, no, I don't even know. I was just trying to get there. He said, I clocked you at 108 miles an hour. You know, that's reckless driving. And I was like, oh, I'm just trying to get home, just trying to get to the funeral. And he says, look, this is what we're going to do. He says, obviously, you're emotionally distraught, you're hurt, but if I let you continue driving tonight, there's going to be two funerals. There's going to be your brother's funeral, and then it's going to be yours, and then possibly you might kill somebody else. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow you to the next exit, and I'm going to make sure you get off, and you get a hotel, and you get some rest. And I thought, man, and I still reflect on that. I said, man, that was some compassion that officer displayed to me. Like, even though I was wrong, I mean, I was in the wrong in the incident. No matter what happened, transpired, I could say I was justified because I was trying to get home. I was distraught. But the bottom line is, I was guilty of driving 108 miles an hour, and at times I was above that. So I knew I was guilty, and this cop showed me extreme compassion, and you know, he showed me mercy, and he allowed me to go to the next duty station. He allowed me to, if you would, to breathe some more. He allowed me to continue on my journey in life. So I'm gonna fast forward a few years. At this time, I'm out of the Army. I went to college, and I had just commissioned, or I got back in the National Guard, and I just commissioned as a lieutenant. And I'm riding, and I'm driving with my family in the car, you know, and obeying the speed limit, doing the natural speed limit. It comes to a red light, I make a left, and once again I see that sign, that errand. Whoop, I get pulled over, and I pull over to the side of the road, and the officer was like, he approached the car, license, registration. You know, had what kind of aggressiveness with me. You know, he was like, do you know why I pulled you over? I was like, no, officer, I don't know. He said, where are you going? And I said, I just coming from such and such, and I don't know. I don't remember the exact location I was coming from. But he said, the reason I pulled you over is because you didn't put on the turning signal. I said, okay, all right, maybe you're going to give me a warning or something. So he said, sit tight. Let me go back. Let me run some information on you. You got any warrants? You got anything going on in your life that I should know about? Any weapons? And just kind of aggressive. And I got, you know, the family in the car, and I said, no, officer. So he goes back, and he sits in his car for a minute, and then he comes back out, and he says, hey, I need you to step out of the car. So I don't know, you know, this is before all the major incidents that happened. I just, you know, got out the car, and he turned me around, and he put me in handcuffs, you know, kind of like, and he kind of put them kind of tight. Put me in handcuffs. He was like, hey, you know why I'm arresting you? I said, no. He said, actually, if you had any warrants. You told me no. And you got a warrant for your arrest. I was like, man, I ain't got no warrant for my arrest. Man, I'm just, you know, just graduate college. You know, I'm a lieutenant in the Army. He said, that's not what my system says. So he said, I got to put you in handcuffs for my safety. And he takes me back, and he puts me in the back of the car. And then he runs the name again. He said, I'm gonna run it. He says, what's your full name? I'm thinking, this guy got my license, and it says my full name. And I said, Andrew James Morton. He's all right, and give me my date of birth and everything. And he's like, hey, you sure your name ain't Andrew Scott? I said, no, my license right there. You know, he says, like, some people have fake license and whatever. He said, what's your name? I said, man, Andrew James Morton. And he got up, and he got out the car. He went up and said something to the family. And I don't know if he asked what was my name or whatnot. But then he came back, and he told me, he's like, look, there's a guy out there named Andrew Scott. He got a warrant out for his arrest. I was just trying to make sure for my safety that it wasn't you. So he let me out of the car, and then I went on my way. And I highlight those two incidents to say that in one incident, I was completely guilty, and I was treated with compassion and mercy and understanding. And then the latter incident, you know, I was completely innocent, and I was treated like I was guilty. So a lot of people, I had some discussions last night with a few friends about the outrage over this Floyd, and the reality of it is that we got a compassion issue. There's good apples in every batch, and there's bad ones, and you just got to pick the bad ones out. I remember I was throwing a recent celebratory graduation thing for my daughter, and when I was preparing, I had a friend, I had some lemons in there, and I was gonna make a punch, and there was a bad lemon in the bag, and he said, "Hey, Drew, man, you gotta take that bad one out, because if you let it sit in there with the rest of them, it's gonna spoil." So the long story short, it's like, hey, these incidents happen. So I want to get to you now, get into your morning motivation about breathing. What are you going to do on the left side of your incident? Are you going to breathe? Are you going to exhale? And I'm going to ramble on a few more minutes, so this may be long. I know I'm over 10 minutes now, so I'm going to ramble on just some incidents that have happened throughout my life. I recall, in college, going into a store, and in the town, me and my friend Ro, we stopped in the store. It was pretty late, and we're like in our 20s, and the people say the store owner or whoever was behind the store, looked at us as we were buying our things, and he's like, "You boys ain't from around here." I was like, "What?" Everybody know that boy word, means something. So we just kind of laugh it off and say, "Nah, we just passing through." Then he says, "Y'all boys better get on your way before it gets too dark around here. There might be some trouble if you're still around here." And this is a real life event. This ain't no 70s stuff. This is real. There's some other incidents. I remember going to flight school, and when I went kind of late in my lieutenant career. So I was the first lieutenant, and I outranked a lot of people in the class being a lieutenant, because they were just getting out of OBC or getting out of or the warrant officer school. And since I outranked them, I was the class leader. So I remember catching hell as a class leader, and the instructor pilots, they call them IPs, they were all extra nice, and I'm the only black in the class. I remember the instructor pilots, they were all kind of had their compassion towards other students. Hey, this is what you need to know. They were giving study guides and cheat sheet of what they needed to know for the test and whatnot. And I asked my IP, I said, "Hey, my instructor pilot, hey, can I get one of those cheat sheets to study, so I'll know exactly what I need to know?" And he says, "You need to know it all, study it all." And so that's what I had to do. And I remember asking some of my students, "Hey, can I give me a copy of that sheet your instructor pilot gave you?" And they used to tell me like, "Hey, my instructor pilot told me not to give it to you or give it to anyone." He didn't say give it to me. He says he told me not to give it to anyone. So long story short, I'm just going through trying to learn it all, and which is beneficial for me to know it all, but I didn't have any help. And I remember graduating flight school, and the last 5 weeks of flight school, I realized that I was deploying, going overseas like 5 weeks after I graduated flight school. So I get called back, and they say, "Hey, yeah, you're going to be deploying. You're going to meet the unit down in Texas, and y'all going to be going to Kosovo." So my first introduction to the unit, I'm just freshly out of school, thinking, all right, now this is where my learning begins. I didn't made it. I didn't survive. I'm still breathing. And I'm going to go back to an incident in flight school in a little bit. But I get down to this duty station, and by this time, I'm going to be eligible for promotion during this deployment. And HR had already said, "Hey, we can get you promoted or whatever," and they're making the arrangements. So my first time talking with my battalion commander, his first introduction to me out of flight school was, "Hey, welcome to the unit, and I'm gonna let you know up front, we're not gonna promote you during this deployment, and it's not because you're black." I'm like, and it kind of caught me off guard. Like, wow, this is my first introduction to this unit, and you're gonna throw that? I wasn't even thinking about you weren't promoting me because I was black, but now that you said it, I'm kind of, it's in my head. Is that the real reason? So I'm gonna ramble on a few more incidents just to give you an idea of some of the things you may have to encounter or that you have encountered. So going back to flight school, I remember clearly I had an opportunity to meet Lieutenant Colonel Carter, who was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. Those who don't know about the Tuskegee Airmen, you should by now. There's been a lot of movies made about that for you to still be ignorant about some of their accomplishments. But if you're not aware of it, go watch some of the movies. But Lieutenant Colonel Carter came down and he spoke to us about being excellent in all that you do. He had a very passionate speech to us. He was up in his age, elderly, but I was very intrigued. They flew the P-51s. So afterwards, he was sending and he was signing P-51 models. And these models were like $200. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. But I wanted to get up to and talk to him. So I went and bought a model. And to this day, I still have that model, and I'm glad I do. And he signed it. And while he's signing, I'm having a conversation with him. I say, hey, sir, you know, you went through flight school when under harsh conditions. So I can only imagine what you had to do and what you had to endure. I said, what would you give somebody like me a tip to survive some things that you feel are unjust and unfair? And he looked at me without blinking. He didn't even pause and give me a long thought behind it. He looked up from signing that P-51 model, and he said, look, your only defense against ignorance is excellence. And that was a profound statement. Like, your only defense against ignorance is excellence. And then he went to expound. He was like, hey, when we first got here, they thought we cheated on tests, and they thought we had some unfair advantage, that we weren't who we were. And we had to show them each time that we were excellent, that we were worthy, that we were who the test indicated we were. So they retest us, and then they put us in some planes that other people didn't want to fly. They put us in environments, and they excelled in everyone. And it was one of the units that didn't lose a bomber through their whole tour. So I translate that to say, your only defense against ignorance is excellent. So as I mentioned earlier, you're on the left side of your demise. Whatever incident that may be, you're on the left side of it. Let me let this truck pass by. You're on the left side of it, so you can breathe excellence. You know, you can't change what happens on the right side. You can't change the cause of anything, but you can breathe. So just make sure you get up and you use it. Hashtag you can breathe. Use that breath. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna waste it watching TV? Some of you are held down by things that's holding you down. There's a lot of other things. I'm using a parallel, and it may be inappropriate to some, but some of you got laziness on your neck. That knee of laziness is on your neck. You can't breathe. It's killing your dreams. Some of you people got entertainment on your neck. It's on your neck, and you can't breathe. It's killing your dreams. Some of you people got, toxic relationship on your neck, and you can't breathe. It's killing your dreams. It's killing you. So I'm asking, whatever it is on your neck, I'm on here. I'm a leader in an organization. A lot of people would like you to Michael Jordan the situation and just be good, dribble your ball, play basketball, and that be it. Michael Jordan, don't address any political issue. But I'm here talking to you, meaning that I'm willing to risk everything I have to get you some oxygen, to get you some air, young king, for you to get up and for you to breathe, to get that off, to get that thing off your neck, that laziness, whatever it may be, get it off your neck. Breathe. Take a deep breath. Breathe. Feel that fresh air. Breathe out excellence. Do the right thing. And I'm not saying that the incident caused, if the individual did the right thing, that it wouldn't have transpired. But I'm saying this, that you can't control what already happened. You can't control. So I'm asking you, playing to you on the left side of the incident, what are you gonna do? We can debate about what's the next step. We can debate about, should we boycott, should we do this, should we do A, B, and C? We can do all that. But the bottom line is, your only defense against ignorance is excellence. So I'm challenging you this morning to be excellent, to go an extra mile. And I conclude on this, and this is a long message. I don't even know if it's gonna upload. So if it doesn't upload to my Facebook, it'll be on my YouTube page. So I conclude with this. I just recently got my talent management evaluation back, and it's where they rate all the officers and give you some feedback for you to develop on. And I was rather disappointed. They rated me at like 74%, and in my book, that's a C. And I know I ain't did no C work. I haven't been perfect, but I know I ain't did no C work. The requirement is to have a bachelor's. I got a master's. The requirement is for you to have a broadening assignment or try to do something. They would like to see that. Man, I got 3 of them. I spent 3 years overseas. And the requirement is they look at your evaluations and go over that, and then they look at your DA photo. Now, if I had known, and I say this because my DA photo ain't bad, but one of the comments was update your DA photo. And I have an issue with my DA photo because, you know, I got my awards and stuff on there or whatnot. But the issue is this. It's like, if I would have known all it took was taking a picture and they were going to determine my worth, man, those extra nights where I stood up and I did a master's degree, when I did class at night, when I'm overseas in foreign countries for, you know, about 5 or 6 years of the last decade plus. I mean, about half my time has been overseas. Those who know me know that I kind of pressed the envelope on my career. So if I'd known that all it took was to take a picture, but what does that picture indicate? They said it shows discipline. It shows if you can put your awards in order. What? It don't show that I spend up hours at night doing my master's degree when it wasn't required. It don't show that I went the extra mile on every assignment that I've been to. But you know what else it shows? Guess what? The same thing you see. I'm not saying that's what it was, but if my picture is showing the reflection of my skin, maybe that could be incident. I'm not saying that's what it is, but what I'm saying is, if you're making that much of an emphasis of a picture and not on the content of the file itself, and I get 70%, make you say, whatever. But they don't know that that's going on my wall in my workout room. It's just more motivation. I'm about to get that knee up off my neck. I'm gonna breathe some more. Excellence on its way. So y'all have an excellent day. Take care.